Good morning, everyone. I call my thesis the Luddites at the Communication Industry because in this time I think it's very interesting right now to start to think a little bit about how the business are. I think it's the best time to rethink about the business are. And I think it's going to be fantastic to stop a little time and go to the past, a very past, in 19th centuries, to start research some things in the past, to understand the present, and maybe to forecast for the future one. My thesis, it's about to propose to study something about technology, to understand all the professionals inside the communication industry who they are against technologies. And I think nowadays it's very important to understand this part. And this is the agenda of my research. First, I'm going to make a quick presentation, a quick background about the history of communication and the history about technology and how they grow parallel. I think this is just to put some points here. Then I enter into my research problem. It's about people are resistors of technology, why they behave like that. And then I came for the main topic of my thesis. It's going to be about the Luddites. I'm going to explain this term for you guys during my presentation. And then I have the research questionnaire called MAD project. I made an interactive questionnaire for that. And some considerations at the end and some thanks for the people who helped me to do that. First, very briefly, you have like a very similar way to grow about communications and technologies. And in the first part, you see very linear the growing about newspapers, radio, and TV. But what you see that it's almost a half every part. For example, you have to have nowadays almost 2 million people reading newspapers, it took like almost 200 years. And if you compare this thing with after the boom of 90s about computers and mobile, and it's impossible to compare. It's 10 times less. And it's follow us for a discussion about how people are understanding technology and adapting technology. The technology is changing their lives, and how this changing their lives affect the communication industry, how we need to rebuild our business, how we think about how you're going to use technology. And one thing it's very important to understand, it's about to understand how people adapt technology. Based on this curve, it's called the hypercurve of a company called Gartner. This company, they are trend companies. They are looking for every fresh technology and study every new approach for new business. And they split like in five parts how a person adapts a technology. It's basically the first one. Is a group called the technology trigger. They are the geeks. They are making trends. They are creating new technologies, and have some examples here. You have the cloud computer. Probably is the most talked discussion nowadays about the most trigger one. You have augmented reality using so much. And one thing I really point here, it's the time a person who adapt this technology. And during the whole process, this time is changing so much. We have like here in cloud computer maybe 2 to 5 years, but probably it's going to be right now in Google is using cloud technology. Maybe next year they're going to use technology. And this curve is always changing during all this time. The next group, where we call it the peak of inflated expectations. Examples, Facebook and every social platforms called Twitter. Nowadays, everybody's using Twitter. But somehow, these technologies start to be in the peak, and then they start to decrease about it's not trendy enough, it's not new enough, and then the technologies started to goes down. And then suddenly, you have like a lot of technologies called true of disillusionment. People are still using this technology, but it's not new enough. It's an old-fashioned technology. You have the virtual systems, chat online, and all the web 2.0 is not new anymore. And then there are some groups and clients and companies, they take this old technology and try to give another meaning for that. It's called this loop of enlightenment. If you take the table PC, we heard from Michelle this week, it's very old stuff in a way, but then you have HP create a new computer with you can change the visual of the computer, and suddenly they start to rebuild this technology, and then for the next one, the final state of technology, when the technology is really well done and really useful around the world, and then they came for this plateau of productivity. We have like all the web development systems, the PHP, XML, when you develop a website, you use this technology. It means every technology passes through this curve. You need to maybe to find and understand when the technology is in the right path. It leads us to understand the whole society is changing using all this technology. And I found an interesting woman in Cambridge University. Her name is Carlota Perez. She's an economist. She's also a teacher. She has 70 years old. She's studied the new technologies, and she's brilliant about her point of view. And I have this quote here because she pointed to us, we are in the information era, and it started in 1971 with all the computer chips, and then we are almost finished the installation phase. The people are taking and having this technology for all these years. And she believes we're going to have like a fantastic growth of the people's life and qualities using the new technologies. And she believes the only way we can change this economic crash is using the new technology. It's a very interesting point. It really does to understand we need to change the way our communication business is thinking about. But what happened, this is the main problem of my research, what happened with those people inside the communication industry, they are refused to use technology, they are refused to take some risks. They are lazy enough to say, I'm too busy, I'm comfortable with the model, I don't like to change. And then I have my statement of my research. I believe that societal leaders can transform technology resistors into adopters. It means I believe that the leader needs to understand the hypercurve, understand when your team is, when your client is, to try to convince him in a certain point and to understand what's good or bad about technology. I may, to point my thesis, I come back for the 19th century. I went back for the Luddites. This is the main topic of my research. Those guys they started his movement in 1811, in the middle of the Industrial Revolution, and they just crash and burn and sabotage all the factories in this time because they are against technology. This was the time when England started to produce machines, and they believe they're gonna lose their work, they're gonna lose their opportunities, they're gonna lose their stability, they're gonna lose all the economic situation with the machines. And I think it was the interesting thing for me to make this parallel between the Luddites and nowadays communications. The main objective, they don't have any strategy in this time, the Luddites. They just would like to be in the same situation, the same c'est la vie, the same day-by-day work. They just fight against automation. They're very aggressive. They have interesting points. They have a leader called Ned Luddite. This leader didn't exist. It was the first viral campaign because this guy is a kind of Robin Hood. They started to spread letters with his name and his thoughts for the politicians, but this guy never existed. We don't have any information he really exists about it. Another interesting thing, if you take Frankenstein is supposed to be the first Luddite film because the woman who wrote Frankenstein was married with a child of one of the most influential Luddite in the period. And it came for a lot of interesting situations, and it came for me it's very interesting to understand their point of views. One thing, they're very open for consumers, for consumerism, and they are very open to use technology, but not only for new technology or new models. They're looking for technology just going for their current works, for their developed stuff, their development tuxedos and everything, but not new ways to create business. And it's interesting to understand how the Luddites' point of view is very different from the English point of view in this time, because English, they are, in this time, the Napoleon War, it's a kind of history part right now, but it's interesting. England won all about the blockade situation. Napoleon's to block all the countries to make the commerce with other countries. But France couldn't help too much about the situation, because they cannot help other countries to stop to use English. They need to have the English products. And with the France is going down, the English has an amazing opportunity to make commerce all around the world. They don't have any other competitive country to do that. And the only way they can survive is to go away, to go to the sea and transfer one product for United States and then for other countries. But the Luddites, they just looking for their point of view, for their industry in Nottingham. They don't know about the English situation. And I think one discovery during my research it's again with Carlota Perez. She also studied about this part of the 19th century revolution. And she points, it's very important not only think about the machines in this period, but all the network channels they built for transfer the cotton for one country for other country. It was the internet in this time. When you have a railroad, when you have a train transfer a product for another country, it was the internet in this time. And nowadays, if you analyze the same map, you have, this is the blockade situation, the England, and after the blockade, the England starts to make some commerce around the world, but this probably is going to be the map nowadays. This is our network nowadays. This is our oceans. This is our communication industry nowadays. It led me to ask a question for my statement. If you find one Luddite in the industry, how is it possible to them to believe, they don't need to accept this to use technology, but to believe this technology maybe can help them to develop his current work, but open for new business, for new ways to create new opportunities in their business. Then to prove that, I make a research called my math project. This research, it's this questionnaire. This questionnaire, I made it a different way. I made it in an interactive way. I believe studying the Luddites, it's very interesting to put internet in the middle of that because it's a kind of controversial. And I didn't make any questionnaire directly for the Luddites because it's possible. If you point for someone, you are a Luddite, could you give me an interview? They never accept they're going to be a Luddite because they don't know about this reality. They know all about, they are old-fashioned about technology. And 700 people answered that, between 18 to 55, and 35 countries answered for this questionnaire. And it's the interesting part, we have a real-time questionnaire because you answer a video. Now I move a little bit forward in the history in 1960, and I make a parody of Mad Men series. I take some videos and wrote another script, and I think I have sound here.
Fooled me last time, but tell me, what do I do with my shopping center?
And then the user is invited to answer a questionnaire, and it's a kind of quiz. Then you choose and you have the right answers for that.
Why don't we use an online strategy?
Let's talk turkey. Do you think your baby boomers generation can help me with fresh ideas today? You You scrub off all right, but you know.
And then it's going on. For this research, I start as a macro point of view. I'm going to have a conclusion about that. And then I go for a really specific point of view, how to mix old generation with new generation, how to mix cultures, how to understand when is it possible to use a technology and how it's possible to use a technology. I think I have a lot of learners. And after they answer this interactive video, they understood it was a research and you have the real-time results. I use the Google Analytics behind that to measure all these numbers here. And I think it was very, very interesting to understand one point. People answer this question in a way, and they have this behavior in a totally different way. If you take, for example, all my answers and my conclusions are going to be about, the first main conclusions is going to be about a successful leader. As a leader, they need to understand when your team, when your client, when your company, and where is in the hypercoval. And you need to align maybe this guy. You need to put this guy maybe is a trigger. Maybe he needs to potentially be more like to open his new technology for partners. In a way, if you are old-fashioned guy, you need to be more triggered. You need to put this balance between. And this is the main conclusion this is going to be about. And then I go really deeper in my discussion. I believe the digital media and the digital communication, it's not a change. Communication is changing every day during like this past century. We start with newspapers, radio, TV. It's changing every day. They need to change because they need to adapt the situation with the people's life. And I don't need this a huge change, but it's a subliminal change because nowadays, after the digital, the consumer's behavior changing. But I think not as a communication industry, we don't need to change, but we need to understand the consumer have a little change because nowadays he starts to participate, co-create, and so on. 54% of users believe the best solution is a digital strategy. Another very interesting point is it's really necessary to mix the old school, the baby boomers, we can call that, with the next generation, with the generation Y.
Can I just ask one
Yes.
question here, just a clarifying question. Of your 720 people, these are not Luddites, right?
No, this is not, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, they work in communication industry because I have this question if they work or not, but I cannot point they are Luddite or not because.
It would seem like they're not at 57, 54%.
Yeah, but I think this is the interesting part because it's very controversial. They answer the question in a way and behave in another way. I think this is going to be one of the big issues in this research. And I think for this point, the old generation, they are afraid to lose their work, but they know how to tell stories. They know they have thousands of stories. And this generation X, they eager for stories. They eager to Twitter a lot of informations. They are eager to know about things. And once a time you combine those teams, those people, for sure you're going to have like amazing growth of creativity and learnings too. For sure, the most amazing part in our industry, it's about lead by idea, and of course we're going to continue to lead. The idea is the most important part, and then you have technology to run your idea. In an inverse point of view, I think it's difficult to take a technology and to have an idea. It's very difficult. If you have the numbers, 73% believe the idea is most important than technology. And another thing is you need to open source your ideas. You need to open your ideas for new developers. Nowadays you have thousands of developers. You don't know what they are doing, but once a time you share your idea in the community, in a blog, something appears a lot of people trying to develop your new ideas. And then this is my final consideration. It's going to be about if successful leaders can change this perception. Yes, they can change probably one thing is to try to take people around the hypercycle and to understand the whole hypercycle. And another thing is you need maybe to increase your technology trigger degree, like to looking for more technologies, and to try to decrease a little bit this expectation, because I think it's impossible to have a line, because you need to have the cycle, this hypercycle is very important, but you need to be more triggered, you need to be more open and more open for new technologies. I think in case if you find any Luddite in the industry, maybe he has two options. One thing is going to be about he's not enjoying this technology, he's not enjoying it day by day right now, because there are thousands of opportunities outside. And not a good news, he's going to be like surpassed. He's going to be maybe not fresh enough to stay in the market here. This is my final conclusion. I think it was very interesting for me to come back for the past and to learn for the first group they have problems with technologies, the Luddites, and then I can rebuild and reframe something in the present using this learning here, and maybe in the future we can understand a little bit more how we can use technology inside inside the industry communication. Have some acknowledgements, so thanks my little big family, Andrea, thank you so much, and my family too, and Gabriela, she helped me to write my thesis, translate my thesis, and for the company, they are really believing my work to be here. I think I'm proud of they're doing for me, and for everybody here in Berlin School, I think I have the fantastic opportunity to share my time with you guys. You are really rise over the bar. You're really good. And Michael, thanks so much to create this school and to spread your ideas. Thank you.